A thread by Carlos Osuita. This is what happens when people project their own limitations on others. Donald Trump is not Tim Pool. Most Americans are not Tim Pool. We will never have a police state. This is in response to a Tim Pool video in which Konstantin Kisin, a comedian and self-described centrist Chad, tweeted out a long thread of warning about the coming police state. Tim calls it powerful insights. Carlos responds to Tim's video. The powerful insights are relevant to the madhouse of the UK, which has been committing national suicide since the 1950s. Britain once had an astonishing aerospace industry. They gave us the first commercial jet airliner. It was the British Rolls-Royce Merlin engine that made the North American P-51D Mustang the best fighter of World War II. And there it is. We gave the British the M4 Sherman medium tank. They mounted a 17-pounder anti-tank gun on it, renamed it the Firefly, and used it to defeat the German Tiger and Panther heavy tanks. I could go on forever. But when they became socialist, they simply shuttered all their industries and created the dole, which allowed generations to live on welfare. The National Health Service will kill you. No amount of scandals brings about change. Europeans have authoritarianism in their blood, either the soft dictatorship of democratic socialism or the absolutism of National Socialism and communism. All their history is absolutist. Americans oppose absolutism. Tim Pool thinks Trump is stupid, but somehow miraculously stumbles from success to success. It's a totally irrational viewpoint that will never be changed. I don't demand that Tim become rational, but I'll debunk him when he engages in childish fear-mongering. Why do we need a police state? Where are the riots? There aren't any. Did you see the list of people charged under federal crimes? Several of them masqueraded as troops or federal agents, instantly apprehended. How? We don't know. Tim says that Americans will demand that Trump use the Insurrection Act to stop what? Vandalism? Appeasement of Black Lives Matter? Trump is being smart, of course. He won't give people the giant symbolic gestures they're used to seeing in movies. Deep down, Tim has contempt for Americans. He thinks we're all stupid. I'm a hermit, but I don't have contempt for Americans. Did Tim notice that Americans came through a pandemic and economic shutdown with flying colors? I noticed. Here's what happens. Influencers never give Americans credit for being amazing. When Americans keep their heads in each crisis, influencers just move on to the next insulting prediction. Negativity is addicting. It's also childish. It's a sign of being a permanent teenager. Try growing up in a lawless country where the last thing you did was call the cops. America is great and will be greater. It's solely because of the people. Americans refrain. There's no systemic racism in America. The worst thing you can say about cops is that too many have the us versus them mentality that's common among all paramilitary and military forces. It's hard to resist. Cops must never take anything personally, and cops must always separate the scumbags from the rest of us. I do. You know how easy it would be for me to hate humanity? But I don't. Humanity is what makes life as a human worth living. Nature is utterly merciless. It's the great genocider. Gaia has razor-sharp teeth that she uses to rip babies apart. Humans are decent despite nature. Look at a rainforest. From the ground to the treetops, it's nothing but predation, savagery. Greta Thunberg should go live in a rainforest by herself for a year. When she got out, here's what she'd say: burn it all down. I don't want it all burned down. But humans are superior to critters that live in rainforests. The critters have short, violent lives. And the people who live in rainforests, they raid each other's villages and murder each other. First world humans are superior to humans who live in rainforests. We're altruistic. We aspire to improve. We don't want to live with mud caps on our heads forever, wearing penis sheaths and killing each other because we thought a shaman cast a deadly spell. I say protect the rainforest dwellers, leave them alone. But we don't actually have anything to learn from them. I saw some horrific documentary of people with red mud caps shaped like Mo Howard's haircut. They were all naked, and the women looked like 12-year-old girls, which was why the Europeans were filming them. The mudcap people built a new hut, and I'll be damned if the cameraman didn't move around to also make sure he was filming up the men's naked butts. Then they had this ceremony where they all shuffled in a circle, making weird noises and playing dismal atonal music on a flute and banging a drum made of some poor animal's hairy skin. The whole thing was totally depressing. All the Europeans were greasy and leering. My life is not enriched by watching a butt picnic and a shuffling dance of moaning naked Stone Age people who are simply taking a break from murdering each other. You know the biggest lie ever told? We're all capable of insert atrocity here. Speak for yourself, pal. I'm not, and most Americans aren't either. No police state is coming, not even close. Trust the Trump.